The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the operation of the CT-CAM tool wire using the automatic functions. First, open your SolidWorks. Next, open the file that you want to work on. I'm showing here just a very simple part that we've created to demonstrate the functions of the wire program. You'll notice once you've got the interface open that on your command manager you will see a tab for CT-CAM tool wire. Select that and you should have a set group of icons which can be edited to add whatever icons that you require on a day-to-day basis. Next, look at the Project Tree tab for CAM tool and click on that. Now there is a blank space here where we can create a project and work on this project completely inside of SolidWorks. So let's create a wire project. Click on the icon Create Wire Project. You'll notice that it automatically defines a work shape around the part that you want to cut. This is totally definable within the project settings. So on Project, right-click and say Edit. On your first page of the project settings, you can give it a name, such as Test Part. You can choose the size of the wire electrode that you want, and choose your cutting order. Either you can choose the priority of the wire contours, or it'll be determined by the system. Next, we'll go to the Shape to Machine tab. This is where you define what you want to cut and what your stock looks like. The stock can either be a cube that represents the part. It can be a cube of a specific value. You can select a specific body within the SolidWorks feature tree, or you can create just a sketch to represent what your stock looks like. The base cutting direction, if you notice the trihedron here, shows the direction of where your wire is going to cut. You can change this by pulling it down and choosing a different one, and it'll change the direction of where you're cutting from. Notice the trihedron moving. For this application, Z+ is the correct cutting direction. Now let's look at the cutting origin. The cutting origin can be set to the center of the top plane, or corners, or middle plane, or top plane, or you can do manual and actually pick a coordinate if there's a specific spot on the part that you want it to be 0. Or you can set it to the model origin by clicking here. On the NC Settings tab is where you'll set all the information about which post you want to use and information specific to your wire machine. The extension you want to use for your toolpath, the file name, and where you want to save your toolpaths and your project. So once we've completed all this, we can just hit OK. So you'll see that we have a cube representing the shape of our block. And yes, it's a cube and our part is round, but it doesn't matter because we're only going to be cutting the contour on the inside, so it'll be fine. So now what we want to do to use automatic functions is use this auto create wire process. So we'll click on that. And you'll notice here it has a checkbox for detect pre-hole for approach. If we'd have already created a start hole for the wire, we could have it detect and the wire would automatically set the program up to start it there. Alternatively, we can also create a start hole later for your wire from within the menus. We'll get into that in a few minutes. So we'll set here, create all face wire contours. So we'll say, create wire contour. It's asking for a body. So just select on the body that we want to cut. It's got its cutting direction already set. The machining type is just going to be a die or a punch type of cut. For this setting, we're going to say die, and then detect. You'll notice it'll automatically detect the structure. Now, we set a group name, and this is important because this is the cutting strategy that you want to apply to this part. In this case, we're going to apply a cutting strategy that has a tab cut and remove the tab, and then go back and do a circuit cut to finish the part. So once this is all selected, we can just hit OK. You'll notice that it automatically creates all the information we need about the toolpath. Now, if there's anything you want to edit on that, you can click on, under Wire Process Group, you can click on the wire process you want to look at, and click on your process list. And you'll notice that all the parameters of that toolpath are editable. So you can change your compensation number, you can change your electrical condition, the cutting direction, the liquid, and the cutting mode itself. When you click on the toolpath, it actually shows what the toolpath is going to look like when they process it on your process list. Now, if we want to trace these toolpaths just to verify how it looks, you set our part in position, and you'll see that there's a point up here called Trace NC. And click on that, and it will display the wire and the stops, and allow us to go through and choose the speed that we want to play it at. We can either have it pause at the stop code or just go completely through. And you'll see that it'll actually go through and cut our wire program just as we've made it. So then once we've verified that the toolpath looks all right, we can actually post our NC data to the wire machine. And again, in CGCAM tool, a very simple process. So there, our part has been verified that the NC code looks okay. Now, if we wanted to create a start hole, we can just right-click on the wire path and say Create Pre-Hole for Wire. Now, if you have the 2D package in CGCAM tool, then it will actually create a whole entity that you can then post out to your CNC machine to put out all your start holes or cut in any two-dimensional data that might be required. So it's highly recommended that you combine the two in the process. It just makes everything all nice and neat all into one package. If we want to create our toolpath, all we have to say is Create NC. And you'll see you're showing your options as to where it's going to go, and you just hit OK. Now everything's been created, our toolpaths are posted out, and that completes this wire package. So as you can see, it's pretty simple to use. It seems to know all about the part as much as possible, and it makes your wire process very simple to complete. Thanks for listening.